Hi, Moondog here. Today I'm going to talk about a piece of equipment that I've found very handy and helpful the last couple of months. It's allowed me to take close-up video of targets while I'm shooting at them without endangering myself or others, and that is a mini budget tripod, like one of these or one of these. Now, when the words mini budget tripod have been used in the past, usually that term applies to one of these. This is a budget tripod from about 30 years ago, back when I was a college student. In fact, this was my tripod back in college. It was a budget tripod for back in the day. This was about $40, $45. Back then, this was a cheap tripod compared to much more expensive, heavier weight tripods. But this is a lightweight, at least for back then, tripod. It is all made of aluminum and a lot of plastic. And it weighs less than 5 pounds. But as you can see, not very compact. Yeah, it's lightweight, and you know it's durable. It's lasted me 25 years of travel and use. But the thing is, a meter long, so not something that you would consider handy. Something that you could just put into a backpack or a purse or a saddlebag and just take along with you. What I'm talking about. Since that time has changed, we don't necessarily take video or photos with a full-sized DSLR or a video camera. Now we take videos and with our phones or one of these, a mini action cam. So with the miniaturization of the cameras themselves, the miniaturization of the tripods that are used to keep them up and steady. And these are the two that I'm going to be talking about today. We've got a selfie-stick tripod and a mini accessory tripod. Well, let's talk about this tripod. It is a selfie stick, extends to about 34 inches. So I'm sure all of us are familiar, or should be familiar with selfie sticks. They were the bane of many people's existence back about 10-15 years ago. But this one has the handy feature of having a built-in tripod along with the selfie stick. So this can be very handy if you're on a trip. This thing, when collapsed, is about 7 3/4, 8 inches long without the camera. So this can easily fit into a bag or a purse or even a coat pocket, and you can take it with you. And you'd have the options of having a somewhat stable tripod base. You could put this on a table or something, and you could take a selfie. You could take footage with yourself, or of yourself. And it is super handy that way. It also has a built-in remote shutter button that works with Bluetooth if you have a camera that is capable of using this. Certainly phones are. So this is very handy, and it's what I love about this is that it's built into the base, so you can't lose it. That remote. Downsides of this: extended as a tripod, not very wide. I mean, this thing is 6 inches at its best, and there's no way to adjust the angle and lock it in. So, not that it would be that handy with such a short spread, because at full extension of 34 inches tall, even in a dead calm wind, on a stable surface, this is not the most stable sort of configuration from a physics standpoint. So, it does have its limitations. You have the limitations of using the action style, the GoPro action style mount. It only has one direction of movement. You just have to be mindful of its limitations. Now, what I really like is this type of mini tripod, and this is essentially a shrunken down mini version of what photographers call a C-stand. C-stands are these accessory tripod stands that photographers used to mount lights, light boxes, and other equipment when we're taking video and photos. It has these locking quick release to telescope out. This thing actually telescopes out to 54 inches, so as tall as the big tripod, but less than half its length. So very handy. Now, also, it has a standard photo screw on top, so you can mount cameras and other accessories that have the standard camera 1/4 inch screw. You can get an adapter to put an action cam on it, and this one is made by a brand called Ubeesize. Here's one of the key things you should look for when buying one of these mini tripod stands. Look for ones that actually have a legit brand to them. I've never heard of Ubeesize. I'll be honest about that, but at least they actually spent the time to actually put their logo on their tripod stand. I've got one here, very similar looking, and you'll find a bunch of these on Amazon. They all look the same. And can you tell the difference? Here's some key differences. One, this one has no logos or anything on it. Here's another thing you got to look out for when buying these things. These locking lugs, make sure they actually lock. Check this out. I did not have to unscrew this to loosen that one telescoping section. The downside of obviously is if you put anything of substantial weight on this, it will slowly start to sink. So be mindful when you buy these things that you check out these locking lugs and they do actually lock each section. If you can pull it out like I just did, that's defective. Send it back. I would have sent this back, except that this actually came with another accessory, a light ring that I wanted. I didn't really care about the fact that it came with a stand. I thought, okay, well, whatever. So I really didn't care. I should have been a little more careful about that. The other thing is, if you notice here, if you can see this, it's actually not straight up even. So if I've tried putting a camera on top of this, and it's canted because this is not even. Really poor quality control, because this thing is just not square. One of the things that you can do if you have a problem, or if you have one of these accessory tripods and it's not square up, you can, and I actually would recommend this on all of these types, is add a ball mount to the top so that you can adjust whatever camera and level it out. Adding a ball head to the top of these mounts is also very handy, because even the good one that I have, the Ubeesize, it only has one axis of movement, so you can tilt, but you can't really do anything else with it. You can't pan, you can't make any adjustments. If you're on uneven ground, you may not be able to find level with this. So having a ball head that attaches is definitely helpful. Make sure you do find a ball head that has a locking screw that isn't too large. Otherwise it'll get caught in this sort of wide photo base. So that's another thing you just need to be mindful of. And here's one other feature that you should look out for. Let's notice at the bottom of this. Yeah, this opens up great and turns into, a tripod base. So does this one, same way. But notice with this one, it has a screw hole. In fact, what was on here just a moment before was, let me find it. Ah, yes, this. This is a locking screw that you screwed into the bottom here. What that did is it locked this tube to this base, to this foot base. But look what happens when you take this locking screw off. You can separate the tube from the base. What that does, what that allows you, is now you have that annoying selfie stick. Yes, but more importantly, this hole is a 1/4 inch threaded hole, just like a camera. So now this tripod central pillar can now be an extension tube. What's an extension tube? That's a tube that adds on to a tripod to give you a little bit more, even more height. So if you have a regular tripod or even a mini tripod, you could screw that into the bottom of this, and voila, you have an extended tripod. Or you could also mount this onto a C-clamp or other accessories. Basically anything that has a standard photo 1/4 inch screw. And now you can mount a camera on this arm to a pole or a table or any kind of bar. You have a lot of options when you have this kind of mini budget tripod that has the threaded hole at the bottom. So definitely look for that if you can. With I highly recommend this kind of tripod system that does have that attachment screw at the bottom. So look for that. And you know, and definitely add a ball head to the top and you're good to go. So let's take a look at how well these things work in the real world and do a comparison of how stable they are. Alright, so as you can see, you can mount an SLR on this tripod. It's not the super most stable though. I mean, it does tend to wobble a bit, but you can, especially if you're doing a timer on the shutter, you could conceivably use this as a photo tripod. I think this is perfectly fine for as a backup tripod, or if you are really needing a very lightweight travel tripod for photography. Of course, the lower you get, the more stable. As you can see, the tripod legs, even splayed out at the maximum width, are way down here. If you got this extended up to the 52 inches, you're going to get that wobble. The other thing is that because of the design of the legs, they will not compensate for uneven ground. So you need to place this on level ground for it to stand properly. Here we see the differences in the max height between the two different types of budget tripods, the selfie-stick on the left and the Ubeesize on the right. There's also a dramatic difference in the size of the legs and the spread of the base of the tripods, which creates stability. On uneven ground, these fixed legs create a noticeable tilt, but at full extension, the tiny legs of the selfie-stick tripod won't handle a slight slope, and forget about uneven surfaces. Now, to be fair, these mini selfie-stick tripods are much more stable if you keep them low and don't extend them, but as we can see here, even when you get it on a completely flat and level surface, the selfie stick is so lightweight that on a breezy day, the wind can cause your camera to shake or even fall over. Okay, as you saw, these mini selfie stick / tripod combos are not very stable in a wind or in a breeze. In fact, during the filming of that section, this thing fell over twice, knocked over by the wind. It is a windy day, granted, but still, these things are not super stable, especially at its full extension. I didn't cry that this thing fell over, but you can definitely damage some of your expensive video gear, especially phones, can crack, so just be mindful of that. But still, these things are super handy, very compact, and if you primarily use it as a selfie stick and not as a tripod, this is definitely a good way to go. My preference, though, is to go with one of these lightweight C-stands. Less than a pound, still fairly compact. Granted, it's still longer than a foot, but still very compact. And this one extends out to 54 inches at its max length, so very handy in terms of your options for height, and much more stable, as you saw. These things are great for overall stability. Not as good as a photo tripod stand, obviously, but still much better than these mini ones. And if you're interested in picking one of these up, I'll include a link in the description below for both this and the mini tripod selfie stick, as well as all the accessories that I mentioned, like this ball head. Mind you, this Ubeesize tripod stand actually came with a fair number of accessories. It came with this phone adapter, and this one's actually a pretty neat phone adapter because it folds in, so it makes it even more compact, but it expands to fit phones, and it has it screws in with a standard 1/4-inch screw. You've got some accessories right there. Again, link is in the description. Pick it up on Amazon, and that link helps support this channel. And if you want to also help support this channel without buying anything, just share this video with your friends and family, because I'm sure It'll help them take those family moments and keep them. And if you didn't like this video, that's fair. You hit the unlike button, but at least let me know in the comments section what it is that you think could be done better, because, you know, that's really what I want to do is make better content for you. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Moondog out. Hey, if you like this video, please share it on social media. You know, Facebook, forums, MeWe, whatever platform you're on. And if you want to see more videos, check out moondogindustries.com.